Right, good morning. It's 4 minutes before the open on Wednesday, June 15th. It is a Fed day today. I think they're speaking at 1 p.m. Central. So be mindful of that. I won't be trading during that time, but just something to be aware of. We had retail sales come out at 7:30 Central Time. Looks like we've got business inventories and a housing market index at 9. And then, yeah, FOMC announcement is at 1. So buckle up. Get ready for that. Something could happen. Anything can happen. Something will happen during that announcement. Maybe the market goes nuts and there's just a ton of opportunities. Maybe it goes nuts and there's not a lot of opportunities. Maybe it's kind of quiet and there's not much to do, or maybe it's quiet and you find something to do. So probably 4 different scenarios could work itself out on that one. So we'll be ready and mindful for that. Just looking at the daily. So let's kind of take a 30,000 foot view real quick. See where we're at, where we're coming from. In the long term, we are down, down, down. So recent high, this is back in, looks like late March. We've come down to some important areas. We were talking about 3720, 3700 even, and then even 3680s I think are significant. Right now we are trading very close to this dotted green line. So in the overnight session we've put in a high right here, the dotted green line, and the dotted red line marks the low for the overnight session, which took place very shortly after the close yesterday. The true low would probably be more around like 37.40, so might make a note of that. I feel like 37.60 is an important area, so we'll watch and see what it does over there, and kind of like call it like 60 to 65. Seems like it could have some importance to it. And let's look over here and see what other areas above the green line are areas of significance. Okay, pretty big gap. I'm gonna step out, get some tea real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so again, we've got that kind of a moderate report coming out at 9 Central. I will be marking the first minute of trade with 2 orange lines. We just call that the opening range. Just shows us where the market opened. It's important to know where it opens, where it closes, what its high is. Stuff that you gotta take. Y2K. Hey, what's up, Dano? Y2K. Hey, what's up, Gold Fever? Hey, thanks so much, man. Oops, I got an alarm here. There we go. Turn that guy off. Well, thank you. I wish you luck as well. Just saying that we've got to be mindful that FOMC is making announcements today. And let's see where's that spike at on the 5-minute? We had some good sized spikes up here, right around like high 80 or mid 80s rather. So here's a spike from the other day. That was a big one. This is from this is from Tuesday. Seemed like there was one more in there. I think that was it. So again, they just keep selling that spike out. That's a pretty big rejection off of that area in the first minute. Oops, wrong one there. Come on, baby. There we go. So right there, then we bumped right up against the overnight high. So there's our opening range right here. Looks kind of yellow with the green and the orange there. So what are some other, I think 3,800 even is another area that has some interest. Oh, there's a big spike up to like the 3,820 level on Monday, which is the high that was put in on Monday. Let's see, we got, what's our high and low here? Let's see. High 37.82, low 37.71. Oh, so not as big as I thought, but still a 10 point. So again, you can't tell because this gap is so big, but that's a big move, you know, in 1 minute to cover 10 points. Used to be just a massive move, but anymore with the market as high as it is, it's all relative. So we've got our 15 minute on the left, our 1 minute chart on the right. I use the 1 minute just for nuance. I use the larger time frames for context. Not, I say this most days, and sometimes I really stick by it and follow it, but and other days I don't. But certainly not going to be in a hurry today to make anything happen. Truth be told, I feel like a day like today, you could watch the market for the first 2 hours, and then if you're into trading most of the day, you could watch the market the first 2 hours, and then take a break and come back around 1 p.m., see what's shaking, and you know, you might get some great action in the afternoon after the FOMC announcement. Here's the 5 minute. I mentioned the kind of the 60 level. So yesterday came up to 60 a lot and sold off. 60 to the high 50s. Here's our 15 minute overnight. And there's some days where you've got a really good idea early on of what may happen, like what you may like to see unfold, and then there's other days where it just takes a bit longer to come up with a thesis that is worth making a wager on, is worth putting money up against. I know, like on the daily, there's a chart formation when it's in the high. It's called like an island, like a floating island or something like that. When you get a really big gap, there's 3, maybe 4 bars, and then it pulls in, retraces, and fills the gap. So today's our third day, start of the third day of this rather large gap down. Let's see here. I'm going back to Sundays. We've got Just looking at some larger time frame, like other levels. Just trying to refresh my memory. It's good to, go back and think about areas where you were trading. So one congestion level was that 3,800 area. Right about here, 3,800. There's nothing ever with trading that's completely bulletproof or that's infallible. Sometimes I'll just draw lines on here to see if there's something that catches my eye, something that makes sense. This kind of does. I mean, not a ton though. An important part of trading too is just being patient, just waiting for something worth taking a risk on, a calculated risk. So mini battle zone over the last 7-8 minutes is obviously the opening range here. So you could guess, you could guess and get short here, or you could guess and get long here. But ideally what you want to do is have a really solid reason. If I guess and did something here, I'd want to have a pretty strong reason for doing it. So we'll remind ourselves that we can and will have a winning performance every single day. I can and will have a winning performance, and that's because I define a winning performance as just watching and observing. So just no charge one way or the other. It's easy with trading to feel charged, to have like an emotional charge as to what the market's doing, what it's not doing, what it should do, why it should do it, all that stuff. But if you say, you know what, I'm just going to watch and observe, I'm just going to be a student of the market, I'm going to just sit back and let it, kind of show me what it wants to do, it takes the charge away from each movement, like each tick movement, being positive or negative in your mind. So the second criteria for having a successful performance every day, I just define that as not fearing that I'll miss a move. So there are some moves that I'll miss. You can't catch everything, but there's a good amount that I get on, and so there's no reason to fear. When I have FOMO, a lot of times I'll find myself having a trigger finger, feeling like, man, I've sat on my hands for an hour just watching the market. And the truth is, if there's nothing there to trade, then there's nothing to trade. It's worth sitting on your hands. I love how Mark Douglas talks about there'll be times when not trading will be like putting money in the bank, and he is accurate in saying that. Then the third criteria for having a successful performance is just executing then. Finally executing with targets and stops in place. Executing and knowing structurally, looking at the structure of this. Since I'm a technical trader, I don't care what the news says or what talking heads say. I just watch, what the minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, what the daily does. Knowing structurally, where am I wrong if it goes to a certain level? I'm gonna see what it does at 85. Um, an area to watch, I believe, would be like the mid 70s here, so right in between this range. If I do take a short somewhere, I'd be looking for like 37.72 and then 37.60. I've not taken a short yet. It's just something that I'm considering. And there may not be a good short setup. It may not be here, it may be higher up. There may be no good short setup. It might just be long and running. Wednesday, Fed Day, could see some really nice action today. Could be a really good day for some good movement. So here's our 15-minute over here on the left. So we're above the overnight high and the opening range. We opened up high. Hey Odie, how's it going? Yo Odie. I don't have a hard stop in just yet, but I'm getting close to putting it in there. All right, I've got a hard stop in now, up a little bit higher, up around 97. Here's the 5-minute. So it looks like that this level, 37.90. I'll see if that level holds. If we get below it, stay above it. So we'll put 90 right here. Oops, got the wrong thing going. So I got my hard stop in above. News is coming out in 20 seconds or so. Not like huge super market moving news, but it's close enough to where my stop is that I need to protect myself, need to manage the risk. Yeah, I saw you talk about that 37.82. Yeah, that's too much risk for me too. Well, for that setup, I suppose. All right, came down to 37.85 again. Couldn't get anything done down there. We'll watch this 37.90 level. I feel like it could have a little bit of support or a little bit of importance to it. So here's our 5-minute. I'm just not in love with this trade. Actually, I moved my stops in a little bit closer. If I see a big push and a fail, I might fall in love with it. Let's see if the bulls resume the partay to the upside. I did mention 37.97, which, you know, that could have some importance. I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm trying to pick the top here, which I will be the first to admit it is risky. 15-minute. As of now, like pretty strong, right? Just popped up. It's holding. Got another minute to a new 5-minute bar. I'd like to see this 5-minute close at or below 37.90. The market doesn't care what I'd like. It's of no consequence to it. Here we're looking like we're trying to get some strength and push up. So getting close to that 37.97 level. Let's see what we do here. So just plotting higher. 37.97, yeah, that was close. I'm not stopped out yet, but I'm getting pretty close here. Just put in a new 5-minute bar, so that one 5-minute that I mentioned, it closed above 37.90, which for the short that I'm in, I did not want to see that. Oh, the audio's gone? Can you hear me now? That's weird. Sorry about the audio. Must have had it off. My bad. Audio gone. Okay, so I'm dangerously close to getting stopped out on this one. Came up here, got short, scaled out a third of it right here, and then I'm within inches of just having this pop my stop. And so far, we're just plotting higher here. Bull's just taking it higher. Here's the 5 minute. Here's the 15. 3,800, I feel like that's an important level. We'll watch and see if it gets any kind of action up there, any kind of movement. But so far, we're quite bullish, right? Like we've opened up strong, pushed up here. Let's see what we do now. So pretty strong, almost got a new 5 minute bar put in. So every little pullback, I'm thinking, ooh, this could be the break. Maybe I'll get short, but I'd like to see a little bit of confirmation before I add and do anything more. Again, we'll watch this 37.90 level. That's a nice bar there, this one that we're putting in right now. But we've gotta push down a ways. I'm going to look to add, sell a little bit more. Got another 2.5 minutes to a new 5 minute bar. So it came down to 90, held it. I don't like that. Bouncing right off it. Bulls still just marching the 5-minute higher. So here's our 5-minute here. See if we can get below this 90 level. Next area is going to be the overnight high. And we'll manage it accordingly. Don't have much more time until we put in a new 15-minute bar, so I'd feel really confident about this short if we came up here and on the 15-minute we got back below here, but we've got 30 seconds to do so. So anything can happen, and something will happen. So first target's going to be again down here around like 82. So again, this one's a little bit more risky, but I'm trying to get the high of the day. Trying to sell what could be the high of the day. Maybe it's the low of the day. I mean, you know, maybe we get here and we just blast up and never look back. Market's strong though. It's the bulls aren't going anywhere. Here's our 5-minute. Here's our 15. We're right here battling it out at 90 again. Could just be a slight pullback and bulls resume trend. Could be the start of a new movement downward. It is FOMC day. We could have some good movement. We're getting close there at 37.97. Like we're getting close to that 3,800 level, which on the daily, here's kind of my reason for doing so. Thinking that potentially come up to here and then pull back in a little bit more. Don't have a ton of conviction about this one. Not yet, right? Like some trades, they look bad until they look good, and other trades, they look good until they look bad. I'm going to move my stops now just above the high of the day. And if for some reason, if we see a stop run, if it comes up, takes them out, and it pulls back in, I'll look to get involved again. But just got to protect yourself. All right, let's see what we do at 90. It's getting a little bit of interesting price action here. We'll see if we come down lower. Close to scaling out. Okay, I just scaled out, so I re-entered a little bit more up here. I scaled out a third, and so now I will hold what I've got at the high of the day. Scaled out right at like 86. No, sorry, 85. Yeah, right around here. And we'll see if it holds overnight. So we'll see if it comes down, holds this area, and continues higher, or if it comes in, fails, and goes lower. Next target for me, so again, my stop is now at the high of the day. Next target for me is going to be this area here, and then I'll look to see if we get as low as 60. Maybe if we get down there, maybe I take off part of that and try to leave a small runner. Let's see, yep. So come down, pop up to 90. Let's see what it does there. Yeah, it's back. Okay, cool. Glad the audio is back with us. Welcome, audio. Glad to have you back. Alright, so just hanging tight, trying to let this trade work, trying to give it some room. So I'm short from above, my stop is at the high of the day. First scale out was right here. Next target I'm looking for, and it might be a fool's errand here, but next area I'm looking for is here. Right at the opening area. Be great to get back in the opening range. And again, this is more of a high risk trade. It's FOMC day. So far the market's up, it's strong. And let's see where we're at here. This could be like a half back pullback that we're getting so far. So if we come to half back, the market could just resume trend and continue on higher. So yeah, looks like this area. So the low to the high, that area that was the overnight high. And remember I mentioned we had that big spike higher on the 5 minute around 85. And now we're holding above it. So that could be it. Like this could be the only downside that we see. So came up, it's been strong all morning, came to half back, and bulls could potentially take it higher. I do want to see it stay below 37.90-ish to 92. Might even move my stop down a little bit further instead of here. Maybe move it to here, which isn't a whole bunch of space, but it's something. I tend to do better with the trades that that I get in and out of real quick. It takes a lot of discipline for me to hold on to one with conviction. So what I've done so far, I initially got short here, scaled out of a third here, and then we got up in here. I added just a little bit more, took off that little piece down here, and so I'm in of what I originally started with. I'm still in 2/3, but total traded, it's about half the size that I'm in, and gonna give it some legs, see if it moves at all. See if we get any movement to the downside. 15 minute, still looking strong here in my opinion. So looking strong, hanging out. And again, it's more of an FOMC day, early in the day type of trade. Mindful too, though, on the daily that we got down pretty stinking low yesterday. Looks like we ran some stops. I'm just looking at the price action on the 5 minute. Like came down to 37.08 3/4, and then just popped it. Like took off pretty high, pretty fast. All the smart money who sold short either a week ago or months ago, probably was them getting out of their positions. All right, almost got a new 5 minute bar. So that 37.90 is a little battle zone again. So we can use our 15 minute. We just popped up. We're holding here. Hanging out. Staying in this. Looks like this now is kind of, could be potentially like a new range. This 37.97, which I alluded to earlier, and 92, and 3800. I mentioned that, those were areas that I felt could be important. Coming back down lower to 32.82, I might a little bit torn as to what to do here. We'll just let it ride. But anyways, thinking that the new range could be, call it 3800 down to this 37.72 level. I'm actually going to buy just a little bit more back right here at 37.85. So I just scaled out of a little bit more. Instead of being in 2/3, I'm still in half. Hey, sorry, Ben. I don't look at my comments all the time. No, I don't trade NQ, just ES. ES. I'm more of an old man, I suppose. NQ, that's got some good action in it. It's got some good action. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm short. Average price is 92. I've scaled out of half of this thing, and being that it's FOMC day, wondering if we, just trying to do like a bit of a lotto trade here. I've got my stop in at the high of the day, and seeing if we don't fail and come back a bit lower. But we're looking kind of strong, at least on the 1 minute, maybe the 5 minute as well. We've come to half back. So from here to here, this is half of the distance right here. And it's also the overnight high. There was a big spike. Let's pull that up. Yeah, so this spike here, this is a big move. Late in the day, Monday, came down, ran some stops, spiked up, and then continued lower. And then same with, it looks like Tuesday, this is a pretty big spike level that came up to like 82. So we're above that area now. Got a few more seconds here until we put in a new 15 minute. Come up, we've stayed below 37.90, but we haven't come down and failed. So anyone's guess at this point whether we go higher or lower. And most of my trades, they work out pretty quick, where a lot of times 10-15 minutes, the trade's going in my direction. This is one where I don't like holding it, but again, I'm in it because it is FOMC day. But a lot of times, like, I'll have that confirmation quickly, and I mean sometimes the confirmation will come within 5 minutes, but other trades just take a little bit longer. But most of my trades, seems like they'll work out rather quickly, which is nice. All right, let's watch. It feels like it's weakening up a bit here. We came up to 37.90 again. 5 minute looks kind of weak as well. So we'll see what we do here. Feels like this could be a spot. Here's our 15 minute. This is the overnight price action in the shaded area. All right, so we broke 82. That's good. Where are we at here? Five minute looking decent here. Here's our 5 minute. Came up, down to here. Let's see if we get any follow through with it. Any of you guys taking any trades yet? And he was a rush for sure. Yeah, I do a live stream daily, most days. In a month, if there's 20 trading days, I'm probably doing it 18 days. I may not be in front of the screens this Friday. Got another 30 seconds till we get a new 5-minute bar. So the trades I was taking up here, I mentioned like, hey, I'm gonna try to catch what could be the high of the day. See if we get some good movement with the FOMC. Just let it play out. So far, it's acting okay, but it's not in a hurry to sell off, and it may not. It may be all that we see. Getting fairly chewed up. Anyone else? Anyone else taking any trades today? Gold Fever, you done anything? I know Gold Fever mentioned, he said, likely not going to trade much today due to FOMC craziness, but I wish you all much luck if you partake. Well, thank you, sir. Hasn't really been any, like in my opinion, there haven't been any great setups. Nothing that really like stands out. Gold Fever was just short when everyone was long. Gotcha. Kind of short earlier on. Well, what I was saying, I mean, like a day like FOMC, most mornings for FOMC, they're pretty standard. Like it's like any other morning, I think, whatever that means. But during that announcement, yeah, it can get pretty crazy, and just good to be mindful of managing your risk. There's some great setups that can happen. You know, you don't have to be trading a second after the announcement or even 5 minutes after the announcement, but you know, you give it time, like be really patient, not fearing that you're going to miss the move, let things set up, and you know, anywhere from sometimes it is 5 minutes after the announcement, but other times it might be 15 or 20 or 30 or an hour after the announcement where you get a really nice setup. So yeah, and that's what I was saying to James P. is that on an FOMC day, morning, first hour, maybe first 2 hours, you could be kind of typical, and then it can really just lull and slow down and kind of bleh, you know, where not much is going on. So yeah, so trade the first hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, take a break, watch around 1. I won't be in front of the screens at 1. I just watch them from open until 10:30 Central. Sometimes a little bit later. Sometimes I'm done earlier. But I I'm doing this live stream to have it and use it how professional athletes watch tape of themselves. So like a basketball player, a football player, any of those guys, like they're gonna go back and watch tape to see how they performed, see um, how they handled themselves. So that's the primary goal for me is just watching what I do, um, learning from progress, learning from mistakes, noting what was done well, and then moving on from there. And I figure anyone else who wants to join, that's cool too, because it's beneficial, I think, to talk to other guys and know, like, so there's some times with trading where you could just be dead set that I'm right, this has to work, and nothing has to happen. If we remember what Mark Douglas says, that anything can happen and something will happen, then we manage our risk, we manage ourselves accordingly. Tech, any trades for you today or not yet? I would venture to say probably not. Yeah, trading in the zone. That's the book. That's the one. So here we are. Here's our nice little range up here. Kind of no man's land, I feel. Could be the 60 to 70, and then definitely have another range here from, call it like high 50s down to the overnight low. Next scale out for me is going to be 72 or 73. We'll see if we hit some of that. Well, I mean, there's technically not a gap day, but yeah, if you're talking about like where we closed yesterday, then yeah, could be. Playing the extremes, says Gold Fever. Well, not a whole bunch to do right here. Right here, let's see. Just looking at some overnight price action. I know that line doesn't make sense, but it might make more sense if I put this one up. So it's just over in this shaded area, we just got his overnight. Here's the 5 minute, here's the 15. So 5 minute, what's going on here? Like, I don't know. Right? Like, who knows? FOMC day. 7.6 or 7.7 might be a decent scale out area. So watch it and see. I'm gonna scale a little bit right there more. All right, so I'm just holding 1/3 of that position, keeping it against the high of the day. I'll be the first to admit that something I need to work on is being a bit more patient with my targets. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of my trades, they work out pretty quickly, so it's tricky for me to just hold on to stuff and let it be. Tricky. Actually, I'm going to move my stop down to this level right here. Well, now I'll let it go a ways. If we can get down here and then lower, then I'll move it to 37.90. See what develops. I guess it just comes down to going with that conviction, you know. It's easy to be very patient with your losers and then very impatient with your winners. That's what I found, at least. Let's see if we get down to my target, 37.73. That's what I mentioned earlier. From there, next target's 37.61, which would kind of put us just before this congestion, like this new range that we've got. So oh, sorry about that. Yeah, what was that? Go Fever. Say, I'd like to visually see you scaling out of the chart. Could you set toss to show your trades? Yeah, I'm sure I could. I don't like watching the dome much. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see, but I'll see, like, mess around with it and see if I can do that. Yeah, I like on Ninja Trader how you can place a trade and then be moving it, managing it, and it shows on the screen. That's helpful for me, for my style of trading. The dome, like the trade ladder, just can get a bit noisy. So let's see, we almost, how low did we get here? 74. Is that the low? Yep, 74. I was looking for 73. Still think we might get it, but maybe not. So new range, its new home, I'd say is between here and 90. So the opening range area and 90. For those who weren't here earlier, I always mark the first minute of trade. So this is a minute chart. First minute, low, high, I'll give it an orange line. We just call that the opening range. And then this green dotted line just happened to coincide with, well, green dotted line is the overnight high. So it just happened to coincide with where the market was doing business for the first minute of the day. So it's not always like that. And then usually the yellow lines I put in there are lines that I mark throughout the day, like as the day develops, areas of importance, areas that, that where we're showing support or resistance. Up here is where we're doing this. At some point, I felt like, I think it was probably right around here when we were still around 9 o'clock, I felt like this 37.90 area could have some importance. $37.85. Nice. I think this little at 37.85 tech, were you on that one? Were you wrong above 90 or 89 maybe? Just looking at that one, thinking that, let's see, 37.85. So you must have got in here on the break, or somewhere over here, maybe. I don't know. Cool. Thanks for sharing, man. I'll be right back. Maybe go check on the tomatoes. Go grab one or two. They're delicious. All right. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way on that chart, Gold Fever. I'll have to figure out what it is. What is the way? Well, it was a short break. See if we get bottom of the opening range here, 72 to 73. For 73. There it is. Okay, there it is. Very nice. Hey, good one, Tech. Let's see if we pick up a little momentum here. I'm looking for 61 to scale out of like half of what I still have remaining. Half of the balance. These are 5 minute. These are 15. So came up when we were up here. If you rewind and go back, you'll see that I mentioned like, man, if we come up here, it'd be nice on the 15 minute to have wicks up here and then have an eventual, like a close below 90. That would be good. So the question for me is, do I get out at 61 or 65? 5 minutes looking nice here. I'd like to see it stay below the opening range. Just kind of scouting around. I guess I'm like gold fever. I'm prospecting for good scale out target, good area. I mentioned 61 quite a ways earlier when we were up here. The question is, do I have the gumption to stick with it? I'm out half plus 20. Hey, well done. Good deal. Change my stop to trailing plus 5. So, Tech, are you saying that you got short at 37.85? Now your stop is at 37.80? Is that what you're referring to? All right, I'm gonna look to, if we push a little bit lower, to scale out a little bit more here. I'm gonna get out right here. Okay, I'm still holding some. Was wanting to see a push on this. I was wanting to see a push on this bar that's now green. Push lower down to 65. Didn't happen. Turned green. So I'm still holding just a small piece, just 1/6 of my original position. And now that we're below this, yeah, I feel like this area somewhere in here might be a good level. Or at least 82. So we'll see what the market wants to do. Yeah, I definitely know I need to get better at, well, there's always stuff to work on. But holding to target and then trailing it well. So in my opinion, here's our zones, this area here. One kind of area, then another area. Call it like high 50s down to the red dotted line. In here, anywhere between, I don't know, I feel like opening range low, like 72 down to like 60. Feel like that's kind of no man's land. Hey, Tech, well done on taking profit down right around here. Good job. One, two, three. See that? Let's see. The break of a 3-minute SMA, 9 SMA. Studies. Study. My moving average. I'll just adapt this guy. Let's adjust that. Simple. Okay. Let's put this guy at 9. I'm sure yours doesn't look like this. Tech, looking at here's a 3-minute chart and the 9 SMA. I would have thought it looked different. I'll mess around with it. Alright, let's get back to the minute. So that last little 6 I got on. I'm going to hold my stop on it. It's either going to be here at 85 or at 90. One of the two. Well, it's 10:01. Really not much to do now, in my opinion. Not for me. That could change any second. So let's go over some thoughts real quick, shall we? Again, we'll talk about I can and will have a winning performance every day. You say, how can you do that? How in the world can you, I guarantee that I'll have a winning performance every day. I can and will have one. Well, it's how you define it. So I'm defining my winning performance as just watching and observing, just being an observer of the market, not letting any movement have an emotional charge that goes with it. Not fearing that I'll miss a move. There are some moves that we miss. We can't catch them all. It's just part of it. Majority of them we can get on. If we miss a move, there'll be another one somewhere down the line. Sometimes we miss a move and it was the wrong trade, right? So we got to consider that some moves we miss and it's a good trade. Other moves we miss and it was a bad trade. It didn't work out. So you got to remember, it all evens out in the wash a bit. And then the last part of guaranteeing that you can and will have a successful performance every day, defining that as simply executing with a stop and with a target in place, and then sticking to that. Something I need to get better at is talking about time frame. I've mentioned here a few times that a lot of my trades tend to work out rather quickly. Quickly for me would be within about 10 to 15 minutes. This one was one where I had to wait a little while, took a little heat on it for sure, but it paid off and stuck with it, kind of held to my conviction. But it's good to have some kind of idea of time frame and target. Usually target goes along with it. And it's also good to let the market prove or disprove what it's doing. So even here, like me getting short at 37.90, I'll be the first to admit that was a little premature. And I got involved here and then just got out of it And then it was a few minutes later, where I didn't give it as much time, I got involved. And part of it, the majority of it, was for fear that I would miss the move. There was concern that I feel like the market's going to sell off a bit, whether a lot or a little, whether fast or slow, I don't know. I want to get involved. I want to see this thing happen. Whereas usually, if I'm just patient, there's better signals, and it's nice to get rewarded quickly rather than have to wait a while. So yeah, those are my thoughts for today. Let me see if I can pull up something else. Let's see here real quick. Oh, so in this book, With Winning in Mind, by a guy named Lanny Basham, or Basham, I don't know how you say it, but his name is Lanny, Lanny. He's a gold medal athlete, or gold medal Olympic. He won the gold medal in the Olympics in like shooting, and he trains professional athletes regarding mindset, mental capacity. Oh, tech, I'm seeing it. Oh, I gotcha, tech. That makes sense. So you're trailing 5 points behind where it was at. Gotcha. I like it. Yeah, we come up here, we're kind of holding that. But let me get back to what I was talking about. So in this book, With Winning in Mind, Lanny talks about focusing on the process, not the outcome. And with trading, right, like the dollars, the amounts, the ability to make a lot of money, it's all right there. Like it's all within our reach, within our grasp, or so we feel. And he talks about become successful at the process of trading. So the first question I've got to ask is, was I following the process well? And truthfully, on these trades this morning, I'd give myself a C. Yes, they worked out. Yes, it was profitable. Yes, I'm glad they were. But regarding following the process, maybe a B minus, but definitely probably more like a C. I wasn't as patient as I should have been. So if we're focused on the process, it will get us toward where we need to go as far as the outcome that we're looking for. If we're focused on the outcome, that's a tricky game to play. And we're going to see a lot of other things kind of cloud our judgment and our emotions. Another thing I like to remind myself of is that with trading, man, like you've got one thing to manage. You've got one thing. You got to manage yourself. That's what you've got to manage. So with so many other industries, you've got to manage just a plethora of different things. You've got to manage people and deadlines and orders and like people who work there and people who are your customers, and expectations from higher ups and all that stuff. In trading, really? I mean, really, when you get down to it, the only thing you have to manage is yourself. That's it. Like you have to manage your emotions. If you manage yourself and manage your emotions, you're going to manage your P&L. You're going to manage everything else. Like that is the foundational thing. So it's good to remember and be mindful of that. Looking at the chart, I don't like how we came up here. Now we're holding this level. I still have on that runner. I think on this runner, it's either hold the 6 of it here, which is just below break even for me, or this level right here. Who knows? Maybe I'll get some insight into what to do. Be great if we broke below here and then got down to this level. I'd move the stop closer for sure. But we'll just let it ride. Yeah, one last thing, just referring to Mark Douglas, that anything can happen, something will happen. Something will happen. Anything can happen. What are we in here? Looks like I'm watching U22. So ESU22, which one is that? Trade. want that one. U is the one that shows it's the most active. Let's see, where's the... Yeah, volume is definitely on U, so that must be the next month. Yeah, that's September. Think M, well, M must expire this Friday, which makes sense, third Friday. Any best practices that you guys are involved with? Anything that you like to remind yourself? And I'm so sorry that I can't hear you. I know it's a pain in the butt to like type stuff out. All that stuff that I just said, it'd take me a while to type that out. But yeah, anything you like to focus on. So we'll see if we can't push lower here down into, again, I've got that target, let's call it 61. For the last sixth of my position. We'll see what they do at 37.72. Man, it's helpful. I really appreciate you guys watching and just typing stuff in. Again, I did this with the intent of just having it be playback for myself, where I go back, look over the trades, learn from them, learn what I want to improve, what I want to do better. But I tell you, it is helpful to just have a little bit of banter, because as Tech mentioned, I don't know, maybe a week and a half ago or so, that it's lonely. Like, there's nobody else here. I'd like there to be. It'd be great if I was in a room full of like 5 or 6 other traders. That'd be cool. And I think it's helpful to have that so that you can get outside of your own head. There's times when, man, you're just in your own head, and it's not helpful. So it's good to know that for every trade you're doing, like, you can be wrong. Let's see what else we see. So here's that zone I mentioned earlier. So we either hang out in this zone. I feel like it'd be nice if we could get below it, and then who knows, maybe there's even strength to that move and we push back into like this trading range, this range or this zone. Let me pull that up on the 5-minute and see how it looks. I'll try to look at some levels here. Here's the 1 minute. Yeah, so next target, we'll call it 61. I'm not a fib trader, but I do use it to look at like half back and sometimes the 786 level. Got nothing against it. I just personally don't do it. So half back from the move lower yesterday up to here. Right now we're at 35. Half back looks to be like 53. So that level of difficulty yesterday was 65. Remember earlier in the day, like right off the day, I mentioned 65 to 61. So I'm going to put my stop now, my trailer, right up at this level. And it's just for a sixth, so it's not for a lot. But now the question in my head is, do we stop and do an about face at 65? Or do we push down a little bit lower? I might even look to put it against this level here now. So there's our 65. Let's see if we get 61. So I've got my trailer, my little trailing dude right here at this level. I'll try to trail it tight. Here's our 5 minute. Oh, I don't know what happened there. What happened with that? Alright. So, okay, we got our 1 minute and 15 now. Sorry. Here's our 5. Got another, I don't know, 40 seconds till we get a new 5 minute bar. See if we push lower. I might be a little bit greedy with looking for 61, but we'll see. So the trailer on this guy, it's right here. Right at this level, like 73.5. I'm gonna actually firm it up even a bit more. I'm gonna pull it to this, the opening range area. Look to see a move here and then be done with it. All right, now I've got it real tight. I've got it, stop has moved, the trailing stop has moved down to the 68 level. So this little wick right here. We came down to 65, maybe we pop up and then continue. I don't know. All right, I'm out of that one. That's it, I'm flat. I'm flat. Let's look at our daily. Let's get a little bit of context. That's gonna wrap it up for me. Here we are. So on the daily, I liked this area because we were bumping up against this here. Oh, Ryan Black, he said, how many contracts are you generally trading? Ben, Ryan Black, I'm trading enough to where I'm not emotionally involved. Right? That's the key. Because I talk all the time about defining success. Like, I can and will have a winning performance today. I define that as simply the first and the pillar, the foundational aspect is watching and observing without just watching and observing without emotion, just being a student of the market, learning from the market, looking for nuance, knowing that I can be wrong. And if I'm trading a size that is making me nervous, then I need to back off of that. So whatever size you're into, you need to ask, like, what is the size that's appropriate where I can take wins and losses and not be emotionally involved. Because someone else asked that the other day, and I mentioned how, like, there's been times where I've risked personally what was a lot on a trade, and I was cool as a cucumber. And then there have been other times where I've risked literally maybe like 50 times less than my larger trades. And I'm shaking like a leaf because like this trade has to work. I got to make it work. So it's not so much about the size it is how do you manage your trades? How do you manage yourself? And then as you manage, the goal, right, is to increase size, but to know that like it's nice when you have the freedom and flexibility and comfort to say, you know what, I'm not going to have any one trade make or break me. Now maybe there's some trades where you lay into and you got it by the tail and you really feel good about it and you add and you size up when it's appropriate, but yeah, to know like, hey, this I'm stopped out on any one trade. It's not going to blow me up, and it's not going to do emotional, psychological damage. That's hard. Man, I hate on a Friday, like if I have a day where I'm just not as disciplined as I need to be, or if I'm jumping the gun or taking bad trades, because then you're thinking about it all weekend. And there's ways that you can kind of brush that off and get over it, but so I'd rather be disciplined in my size and in my process, right? And again, it goes back to not worrying about the outcome, but worrying about the process. Am I following the process well? Screw down at 66. 10:20 already, dang. Magic 8 Ball says. Alright, I'm gonna put the Magic 8 Ball, yeah. Alright, so for me, this 61 to 65, it's important. Yesterday we came up to it. Let's look at yesterday's action. So I'll get rid of the 15. We'll just look at the 5 here. Maximize the 5 minute. Give me that 61. I want to see that thing get hit. Even though I'm out now, I got see if my thesis was correct. So yesterday, let's see. So yesterday started here. This is the 5 minute chart. A day where we just pushed lower. Came up here. Had some really nice trades yesterday. Was just reading the market well. There's a good amount of movement, and worked out good. Anyways, came up to like it was 60 to 65. It kept selling off. So opened like the low of that was right at 60. Did our thing back and forth a bit. Came up to it, sold it off. Didn't quite get it here, but then came up to it again, 65 or 60, yeah, 67. But really the area of importance, I think, would be right here at 62. Sold off again. Then that was it for the rest of the day. So, again, I feel like I said earlier, how no man's land is between this area here and call it 60. We'll see what we do in here if we waffle or waver. Maybe we hold it, maybe we pierce it and then continue up. But if we get much below it, I feel like we might live some of the day back down in this range. A lot of business took place the other day between 57 and like 33. So for what it's worth, you get what you pay for, right? You're welcome. And the previous day, like I said, our range was here to here, or at least enough of it. So we did that earlier. Now we're pushing out of it. So who knows? It's anyone's guess. Anyone's guess. Coming down to 64, getting a pop. Wondering now if wondering where we go from here. What do we do from here? Yeah, I'd like to get better too at putting a text note in, typing somewhere like, okay, I'm da 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 da, I'm short from this level, wrong at this level, right at this level, so you can see it as well. We'll see. So here's our 15 minute. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for me. I could sit and watch charts for quite a while, but I've been involved this morning. Not gonna do anything else. I'm done for the day. You guys watching during FOMC, enjoy. Know where you're right, know where you're wrong. And if you take a trade, know, where am I wrong on this guy? It's important. And that 60 level was also, looking at the 15 minute here, 60 was an important level. Let me pull up the 5 minute. Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan. Or Ben. Or Black. What do you want? You want Ben, Black, or Ryan? Who you want to be? Ben, Ryan, Black. Let's see. On the 5 minute. What is that? Oh, okay, so that's more on the 15 minute here where I'm looking at the 60 price level. So 5 minute looks quite a bit different. It comes down to 53 on the 5 minute. Okay, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I'm really leaving this time. I will see you tomorrow.